Terry Creasy, and I'd like to welcome everyone to our presentation tonight. Mr. Isabel will work with Ms. Kim Gwynn for the proclamation.
Thank you, Commissioners, for having me tonight. September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and I'm here on behalf of Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network just to really raise awareness in the community. So I really wanted to just read the proclamation here. Whereas suicide is one of the most disruptive and tragic events a family and a community can experience, with more than 1,000 lives lost in Tennessee each year and an estimated 8 to 25 attempted suicides for each suicide death. And whereas suicide is the 10th leading cause of all deaths in Tennessee and the second leading cause of death among young people aged 10 to 14. Whereas 3 lives a day are lost to suicide in Tennessee, which means we lose 21 Tennesseans each week and 84 people per month. And whereas Tennessee veterans, active duty military personnel, and National Guardsmen face a disproportionate risk as compared to the general population of Tennessee, with more dying from suicide than combat. And whereas public awareness of this tragic problem is key to preventing further suffering and loss of life, and the risk for suicide can be reduced through awareness, education, and treatment, and as the highest risk for suicide is among the survivors of those who died by suicide and those who have attempted suicide. And whereas suicide prevention has been declared a statewide priority by the governor, and Tennessee declares suicide prevention as a state priority, and the legislature, in partnership with the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network, implements the Tennessee Strategy for Suicide Prevention based on the National Strategy for Suicide Prevention. And whereas Tennessee is a national leader in the effort to prevent suicide, being one of the first states to develop a suicide prevention and evaluation plan covering the lifespan. And whereas the governor of Tennessee has appointed a Suicide Prevention Network Advisory Council to coordinate the implementation of the Tennessee Strategy for Suicide Prevention. And whereas TSPN is a grassroots collaboration of Tennesseans and organizations working to eliminate the stigma of suicide, educate the community about the warning signs of suicide, and ultimately reduce the rate of suicide in our state. And whereas the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network, TSPN.org, is committed to excellence in suicide prevention, intervention, and postvention, now for
there, standing in for the mayor of Andrews County, do proclaim September 18th as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and I so move.
Thank you. Very quickly, I wanted to share some other data that wasn't in the proclamation, but I think it's very important because it brings it down to a local level. According to the CDC, since 1994, there has been a 63% increase in U.S. deaths by suicide for females and a 43% increase for males. Girls aged 10 to 14 have seen a triple increase in deaths since 1999. To bring these deaths even closer to home, the state of Tennessee has already confirmed 6 deaths by suicide in our school-age population across the state. Since the beginning of the new school year, that's 6 weeks, we've seen 6 deaths in our school-age population. The youngest of these so far is a 12-year-old. Comparatively, last year, during the first semester of school, TSPN stated that 2 4th graders took their life and were the youngest confirmed deaths. If we are to combat suicide, staggering and scary numbers in our community and state, we must realize that depression and other forms of mental illness are medical conditions, not character flaws. We must believe that together we can gain positive ground against the fastest growing killer of our most precious resource, our youth. As adults, we need to be introspective, open and honest and approachable with ourselves, as well as learning all we can about suicide prevention and its warning signs. And I want to leave you tonight with two important numbers. The first is our National Suicide Prevention Lifeline number. That's 1-800-TALK. It's 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year. And another anonymous and confidential text line, so if you really don't want to talk to somebody, but you can text, that text line number is 741-741. And again, it is also confidential and available 24 hours a day to help our citizens in this community and those we love to combat suicide and be here for tomorrow. Thank you for your time and thank you for the proclamation. Thank you so much.
Kim,
Yes, sir.
could you repeat the hotline number again, the 800 number?
Yes, 1-800-TALK. 1-800-243-TALK.
I still didn't get it.
1-800-243-TALK. I believe that's 8255.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners. Thank you.
That concludes the presentation, and at 6:15, we'll have the public hearing on the rezoning.